Every masterpiece that Forvo studio ever built from silence was shaped from something broken, from the beautiful and violent. Collision of two people who were honest in the dark. This is one of those. So listen, from the very start. She left for college on a Tuesday with a future in a frame. I pressed my head against her temple at the platform and became the kind of man who smiles through the leaving, cause he knows that what a brilliant woman searching for is more than what he shows. I never went to college, so I read the world from far. 7 states between us and the distance was a scar before it even opened, cause I knew the life she'd find was bigger than our mornings and our ordinary kind of love. The kind that's built on walks and stations and on trust. The kind that weathers beautifully until it meets the gust of something new and shining and electric in the air. And the girl I love was always too alive to just stay there. But I told myself that love was wide enough to hold the span, that I could be her anchor, even plan it where I am. And the calls came every morning, every detail, every name. She described the halls, the people, and I cataloged the same. I received it all like scripture, even memorized the tone of the way her voice was changing in a world I'd never known. But I never raised the worry, I just swallowed every sign. And I loved her through the static of a long and fragile line.
We were gold before the distance turned to weather. We were whole before the hunger pulled the tether. I held the door open with everything I own. But love can't live in a house where truth is never shown. We were fire, we were forest. We were faithful in the green. Now I'm carrying the memory of everything we've been.
Then joy stepped through the storyline like glitter on a blade. The reckless kind of brightness only certain people trade for substance, and I clocked it the first moment she was named. You love her decent, laughing, and I quietly became something like a prophet, reading weather in a word. Cause joy was just a toy that someone lit and left unstirred. The party life, the reckless pull, the midnight in the crowd. The kind of influence that empties while it makes you loud, with feeling like the world is yours and consequences small. And I was at a distance watching someone else's haul fill up with someone I had loved and something clean and real. Before the light of everything familiar broke the seal, then joy arranged the table and she brought a third seat round. Kevin easy laughed, a patient standing steady sound. I heard the name and measured it, then heard the name again. And Kevin carries gravity that doesn't move like friends. He's positioned like a patient that already knows the door. And I could read the architecture even 7 states before. And Maddox, she would tell me everything so openly and free, like openness was innocence and innocence was key. She'd say he's just a friend, babe, why you so insecure? And every time she said it, I felt something close the door that I had spent 2 years of bare hands and faith to build, while Kevin sat beside her in a space I never filled.
We were gold before the distance turned to weather. We were whole before the hunger pulled the tether. I held the door open with everything I own. But love can't live in a house where truth is never shown. We were fire, we were forest. We were faithful in the green. Now I'm carrying the memory of everything we've been.
The first video came through at 2 a.m. still wrapped in smoke. It's just the influence, the caption read, don't make it a provoke. I watched it 17 times like competition was a cure, and every rationalization slowly lost its furniture. She go to parties not from pressure now, but from her own design, and reported after like the going was a thing I should call fine. Kevin in the background of the frame, not sharp, not said aloud, just close enough to register and casual enough to crowd the conscience till I named it and she turned the naming wrong. You're trying to control me while I watched her move along behind the armor of the wounded and the logic of the blame. While I was
sent the photograph, the fabric cut in place to catch the wandering eye and fill the museum of her grace. She thought it made me proud, but I had said it from the start, that something sacred lived inside the modesty of the art of loving someone fully. She called that control. I let it go, and slowly I stopped carrying 100 things I used to hold. One silence gave another like a domino in frost, till every room we built together tallied up its cost, and what we called a living thing became the shell of what it was. Two people in a contract going through the motion, because neither one would name the ending, so the ending named itself, and love became a ledger and the ledger became shelf.
We were gold before the distance turned to weather. We were whole before the hunger pulled the tether. I held the door open with everything I own, but love can't live in a house where truth is never shown. We were fire, we were forest, we were faithful in the green. Now I'm carrying the memory of everything we've been.
Then she sent the message framed in silk without a seam. Maybe we should end this, delivered like a dream she'd had before the kind where she says leave and I say stay, where my panic was the evidence that kept her fed that day. She used it as a blueprint, throw the match and watch me run back into the burning like a man who can't be done with a love he built his mornings on. She knew the architecture of my weakness like a map and played it like a feature, but that version of me, he was buried in the weight of everything he'd witnessed at the long end of this gate, and something in the stillness was the only honest thing. So I handed her the quiet, said okay, it worth the ring. A silent swallow everything we'd spent 2 years to raise. She received it like a woman caught inside her own maze. She reached back in the winter, sourced and now a different tone. Half a heart arriving at a door she should have known. She damaged past the threshold of a gesture and a word. The effort was a whisper when a reckoning was heard. She typed and then deleted what she couldn't bring to give. She knocked but didn't enter, and the memory would live on both sides of the door frame. Her eternally at war with the girl who said it burning and the girl who missed the floor. She never jumped completely, never stood inside the flame. Half of her was reaching back, the other playing the same game that got us here, and so the love dissolved in gray. Not in fury and not clearly, just in half attempts away.
We were gold before the distance turned to weather. We were fall before the hunger pulled the tether. I held the door with everything I own, but love can't live in a house where truth is never shown. We were fire, we were forest, we were faithful in the reed. Now I'm carrying in the memory of everything we've been.
I still remember how the forest used to hold us in the green. The station platform stretching longer than the space between two people who were honest and too young to know the weight of a world that tests the faithful at the threshold of the gate. The way she held my hand before the train and raised the view, and everything was possible and everything was true. Before the smoke, before the party, before the fractures lined the wall, before the dominoes arranged themselves and let the palace fall to the frozen. I release her to the forest and the green, to the station and the cold air and the space that fell between. She lives there in the amber of the promises we swore. And what Forvo studio amongst us, what no silence can erase, is a masterpiece of ruin with the ghost of something grace. A love pressed in the music so the memory finds its place. And I closed the door behind her, and I don't go back no more.